look out for the hadith when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said to move the finger. Okay, when you don't miss the hadith, because that has another discussion at the end of it. First hadith is from the Sahih hadith, very famous in the Bab, from Abdullah bin Zubair. كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يشير, you should do ishara, بأصبعه, with his finger, إذا دعا ويحركها. Sorry, إذا دعا ولا يحركها. That's the main point of this hadith. Abdullah bin Zubair said, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when he would do ishara with his finger, إذا دعا. Now the meaning of da'a will become very important in this subject. What does da'a mean? Does da'a mean dua? So I'll discuss that separately. But إذا دعا ولا يحركها. So this is Sahih hadith on the Bab, which says he didn't move the finger. So that's why the true view of moving the finger, not moving the finger, this, all the ulama, they go with not moving the finger is because of this hadith. وَلَا يُجَاوِزُ بَصَرُهُ إِشَارَتَهُ. His eyes were fixed on his ishara. So from this hadith, this hadith is in Abu Dawood and Nisa'i. Or to be honest, Abu Dawood, he has mentioned this hadith. And before وَلَا يُحَرِّكُهَا part, Nisa'i. And Imam Albani, he said hadith is Hasan, good. Okay. Even though Imam Albani's his own amal is not on this. If I get chance, if I forget, remind me, we'll touch on that as well, inshallah. In other hadith, which is Sahih Sunan Nisa'i, Amir bin Abdullah bin Zubair, the son of Abdullah bin Zubair, from his father, he said, أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم كان إذا قعد في التشهد. When Nabi صلى الله عليه وسلم used to sit for tashahhud, وضع كفه اليسرى. He put his, now pay attention to the word, كف فهو اليسرى, his left kaf, hand, على فخذه اليسرى, on his left thigh. Remember the word thigh because you will have something else later. Okay, he put left. So mark all the important bits in each hadith and then you will have all the mawad for discussion later. So he put his left hand on the left thigh. Okay. And وأشار بالسبابة, and the right hand on the right, and he did ishara with the sababa. And ولا يجاوز بصره إشارته, again his eyes were fixated on his ishara. So I wanted to add the fakhiz bit, the thigh bit from the previous hadith. Also from Abdullah bin Umar, which is narrated in Sahih Muslim, and the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam إذا قعد للتشهد, when Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said for tashahhud. I don't think we will have time. When we say tashahhud, we mean jalsatul tashahhud, all of it, or we mean just the part tashahhud, because that does have an effect on where you raise finger and when you put it down if you don't. But if I have time, in question answer, remind me, inshallah. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he said for tashahhud, وَضَعَ يَدَهُ الْيُسْرَى عَلَى رُكْبَتِهِ الْيُسْرَى. He put his left hand on the left knee. So before was fakhid, now is rukba. They are not far from each other. Some ulama say it is the front of the hand reaching the knees. Okay. وَيُمْنَى عَلَى الْيُمْنَى, and the right on the right. وَعَقَدَ ثَلَاثَةٌ وَخَمْسِينَ, and he folded his fingers 53. You know, this is a 5 round, and if you think this is 3 in Arabic. So this is what they mean by either this, that's where the views these comes from, holding it like this, but this is specifically mentioned later, and I don't know if I've got the hadith for, but it's in the hadith. But this all comes under 53. And there are other numbers as well. When you go through a hadith, you'll find. Now, so he did that, and he said, wa ashara. And he said what? He did ishara. He pointed. Again, no mention of, in this hadith from Abdullah bin Umar, there is no mention of tahriq. There is no mention of moving the finger. There is another hadith from Nisa'i and Ibn Majah. This hadith is from Malik bin Numair al-Khuza'i from his father. His father said, قال رأيت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم واضعا يده اليمنى على فخذه اليمنى. His father said, I saw Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam put his hand, the right hand on the right thigh. في الصلاة ويشير بأصبعه. And he was doing, I saw him pointing from his finger. You will see, sometimes it says usbu', isbi', or asba'. In Arabic is all right. If you put, let's say, isbi' with the fatha and kasra, isbu', isba', or you do usbu' with kasra, dhamma, 3 on the ba, or you say asbi', asba', asbu', all 9 possibilities, and also usbu'. So 10 possibilities for the finger, all are correct. And you'll see different in hadith, which is, and then asabi' is the jama'. Now, he saw Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and this hadith is also Hasan. Another hadith again from, this is very important, from is in Sahih Muslim, from Abdullah bin Zubair. He said, قال كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا قعد يدعو, again دعا يدعو, when he said يدعو, when he said for tashahhud, he said إذا قعد يدعو وضع يده اليمنى على فخذ اليمنى. The meaning of يدعو is very important later, because what does يدعو mean? The ulama differ, and that's why their result they took out from all this is going to be different as well. When he said da'a yadu, making supplication in literal meaning, when he said for tashahhud, وَضَعَ يَدَهُ الْيُمْنَى عَلَى فَخِذِهِ الْيُمْنَى, he put his right hand on the right thigh, وَيَدَهُ الْيُسْرَى عَلَى فَخِذِهِ الْيُسْرَى, and he put left hand on the left thigh, وَأَشَارَ بِأُصْبُعِهِ, and he did ishara with his finger, as-sababa, وَوَضَعَ إِبْهَامَهُ عَلَى أُصْبُعِهِ, and he put his ibham on his finger, okay, وَيُلْقِمُ كَفَّهُ الْيُسْرَى رُكْبَتَهُ. Okay, so his left hand was on his knee. He was on the thigh, but was on the knee, so you can see where it was. Now, we from this hadith we get one more type of holding the hand. Also, we need to discuss the meaning of yad'u, because yad'u, some has taken it as the meaning of dua, in the meaning of tawheed, the dua of meaning of tashahhud, or even jalsatul tashahhud. In the riwayah from Imam Ahmad and Nafi', he is the Mawla Abdullah bin Umar, he said, كان Abdullah bin Umar إذا جلس في الصلاة, when Abdullah bin Umar sat in the salah, وضع يديه على ركبتيه, he put his both hands on his both knees, وأشار بأصبعه, and he did ishara with his finger, وأتبعها بصره ثم قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لهي أشد على الشيطان من الحديد, and his eyes were again looking at the ishara, and he said, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that it is more severe, the effect of it is more severe on shaitan than the iron. Now, there are other hadith about the movement of finger having effect on shaitan, which are da'if, but this hadith isn't, this is Hassan al-Albani, and it's not disputed. It's a good hadith, okay. Again, going back to the Sunan Nisa'i, Malik bin Numair al-Khuza'i, he was talking to the Ahl Basra, أن أباه حدثه, that his father says, he told him, أنه رأى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, he saw Nabi صلى الله عليه وسلم قاعدا في الصلاة, sitting in the salah, واضعا ذراعه اليمنى على فخذ اليمنى, he's Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's forearm was on the thigh. So that tells you that the whole, it shouldn't be like this. You shouldn't be holding your knees like this. Rather, you should be rested. Whether the finger reaching the knees, or even some said you can go forward, but somewhere in the front of your thigh and where the knees begin, and then this should be really near to you because your forearm needs to be on the thighs, according to this hadith. And also this hadith had something very interesting. So he said, ذراعه اليمنى على فخذ اليمنى رافعا أصبعه, he had his finger raised. السبابة قد أحناها شيئا وهو يدعو, and he had slightly bent it. It was bent slightly. So it wasn't like straight pointed like this, but it was naturally, or you can say it was slightly bent. And this is hadith Hasan as well. He said, وَهُوَ يَدْعُو. وَهُوَ يَدْعُو. Again, was he making dua or was he doing tashahhud? What does it mean? How do you know if you see someone in tashahhud? He was making dua or... Yeah. But we will come to that as well. Also, in this course you have heard the name of the Sahabi Abu Humayd al-Sa'idi many times, and his Sifatul Salah of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the hadith. Now, this is a very famous incident, very famous hadith narrated in Tirmidhi, where the Sahaba or the kibar of the names of the Salaf, like Abu Humayd himself and Abu Sayyid Sahal bin Sa'ad, Muhammad bin Maslama, or many other, they say up to 10, they were sitting there, and they gathered to discuss Salah. Now Abu Humayd, he said to them, I am the most knowledgeable amongst you in the Salah of Rasulullah Sallallahu. They said, how can that be? You were you didn't have as much suhbah of Rasulullah Sallallahu as us, and we've been with him more time. Then he went through the Salah of Nabi Sallallahu in detail, and at the end they said, yes, exactly, that's how we used to pray. So this hadith is very important, Sifatul Salah. Even when we started our Salah, we went through the hadith, Sifatul Salah from Abu Humayd. Now in this hadith, he said, وَضَعَ كَفَّهُ الْيُمْنَى عَلَى رُكْبَتِهِ الْيُمْنَى. He put his right kaf on the right rukbah, which is the right knee. وَكَفَّهُ الْيُسْرَى عَلَى رُكْبَتِ الْيُسْرَى, and the left one on the left knee. وَأَشَارَ بِإِصْبَعِهِ, and he did pointed from his finger. Hadith is quite detailed about the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, but he didn't mention tahriq of it here. There is no mention of that. Now, also in Tirmidhi, there's a hadith of a person who was doing. It says, "Kana yad'u bi usbu'ayhi." So he yad'u bi usbu'ayhi. He was doing. So here the yad'u is taking the meaning of ishara. He was doing ishara with two fingers. Yeah, ishara with two fingers. فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أحد أحد. Very famous hadith in this bab. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, make it one. So كان يدعو بإصبعيه. He was doing ishara. So many people took dua in the meaning of ishara, but it doesn't work everywhere. Sometimes because ishara is mentioned and yad'u is mentioned. Okay, but normally ulama who say, looking at these hadith, they say there is no mention of tahriq, so we take in the meaning of ishara. Okay, but yad'u biha has possibilities. We'll cover in a minute, inshallah. Imam Tirmidhi also said, إذا أشار الرجل بأصبعيه في الدعاء عند الشهادة لا يشير إلا بأصبع واحدة. That Imam Tirmidhi said, if a man do ishara with his, look in this hadith, he says كان يدعو بأصبعيه. He was doing dua with the two fingers. Imam Tirmidhi added onto it, if a person doing ishara, he should do it with one finger. So he took the meaning of yad'u as ishara as well, meaning pointing. Now, but he said, إذا أشار الرجل بأصبعيه في الدعاء. He said, if a person doing ishara in dua. So now you can say, what do you mean by dua? Yeah, which we've got a couple of hadith left and then we'll move on to discussion.